What are you doing? What is chasing that thing? That deer looks rough. What the heck is happening? Anyways, I just took a video of this huge rub line right here. And I was standing next to this rub. And I'm like, man, why can't I just find a huge shed antler laying next to one of these rubs? I look across this little ditch here on the other side of this hill, and I think that is a giant shed. I'm not sure how big that is, but it looks big. There's another giant rub right there. Holy cow, dude. Oh my god. Is that not even chewed up? Oh my god, dude. Holy crap. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a booner. Look at the main beam on that. Holy cow. Oh my god. That is a freaking hammer. Just cut through the CRP and see a dead buck here. Ooh, looks like a really nice one too. Yeah, that's a stud. That's been here for a while. That's a nice buck. That's awesome. Looks really good in here so far. This big hardwoods here sets up really well for bedding on a westerly wind. And then there's this real thick patch of bedding down in here that I wanted to just come check out. This neighbor's property is just a wide open pasture ground, and it's just all ripped up in here. Tons of rubs, and there's this awesome buck bed right here. Look at the size of this freaking track right here coming out of this. Incredible. Absolutely loaded with hair too. That is nuts. I'm sure there's going to be a shed in here somewhere, so I might just walk through it quick. Well, I pinned a whole bunch of spots down in there by that buck bedding area. I came out of it, walked the bottom. It looked good, and then I'm walking back and I'm like, man, I just can't believe there's not a shed in here. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, do I just like this or do I love it? I can't tell. Like, it's good, but I don't know how good. And then I look right here where I must have just been below this. It looks like a big honking shed. Oh man. Holy cow. It's white. Holy cow, what a hammer. Look at the mass on that tank. Walking this thick river bottom here, and I'm always kind of just looking into the water. Maybe I can find a shed or whatever, like laying right on the bank, and I see a rib cage, and I look real close and it looks like a really big buck. Might have to take my boots off and walk in there. Look at that beaver going right at that dead buck. That's gnarly. I just jumped a real small shed buck that was bedded right by that deadfall, and we just stared at each other for about 30 seconds from like 30 yards away, and then I kind of get around these trees and I just want to look at that bed, and there's a freaking antler hanging right there where he was bedded. I can almost guarantee you it was that buck. He had real small pedicles. Sweet deal. Pretty fresh, a little blood on there yet. I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me or not here. It's pretty windy, but I got a pretty nice antler spotted right here. I was thinking to myself, walking through this awesome CRP, I'm like, man, there's really no rhyme or reason on where I should be walking. And I'm like, I'm just gonna get on one of these. There's a few trails going through here. I'm like, I'm just gonna hit the topo features where a buck would likely bed if this were any other type of habitat. Right when I turn this corner on this good deer trail, I see this big shed here. Looks like a really nice one. Oh yeah, that's a... Oh, is this the other side to that? Oh, maybe not. That's a stud. Man, these deer must live out in this stuff because these antlers are very, very white on these bucks. That's from this year's wax ring is still on there, so. Really just trying to make it back to the truck. I'm telling myself this is not a shed hunting mission, and I see another one that looks quite a bit smaller than these other ones, but it still looks decent. Obviously no one has walked there. Oh, that is a pretty nice one actually. All lefties. Holy cow, dude, this is freaking gross. Man, all these sheds have this exact same weird color and like this tackiness to their antlers. That is so strange. I don't know what kind of trees those are that they're rubbing on that do that. Crazy. Well, just got out to this property. Looks pretty cool back in here. It's like a big south face. Looks like old pasture ground that hasn't been grazed in like 15 or 20 years. It's all just solid apple trees and briars and a lot of grass that's grown up. Man, someone had to have walked this because I can't believe there's not a shed in here. I just turned and there's one right here. Look at my freaking hands. I'm just getting so cut up. Ooh, that's actually a lot nicer than I thought. Look at the long main beam on it. Huge pedicle too. I bet you that's an older buck. Some pretty cruddy genetics. Got a lot of weight to it. Sweet. It's a cool shed. Maybe I can find a few in here. I'm walking this steep side hill, this big ridge here, and I could see this like kind of open grassy patch that the sun was beating down on, so I was kind of just headed right at that, and then I just look to my left here and I see a huge antler just glowing in the sun. It looks like a freaking stud. I don't know. See what we got here. Man, is that awesome when you just see that from a distance in the hardwoods. It's not as big as I thought it was, but it looked like it was a giant. Oh, it is a pretty nice one. That is awesome. Really young looking deer. Some awesome character. That is cool. I really thought that was a mega antler. Still a nice one though. Well, this shed antler find here was pretty embarrassing, I'm not gonna lie. I was looking at this scrape here, then I see a rub on a tree up there. I put my binos up to my head and I stand on this log and put my foot on it like this, and I literally just stepped right on top of this antler. I turned around to see what it was, and yeah, I must miss a ton. It's a pretty nice buck. Sweet. Almost dark here, and I am a long ways in here, and I gotta cross a river and everything in the dark, so it's gonna be a chore. Well, I'm walking out of the woods right now. It's absolutely miserable trying to make it back to my truck. Just about to cross this river, trying to find a spot to cross it. And there's an antler laying right here. I just spotted it, almost would have walked right on top of it. Look at that. Oh, it's super cool too. Man, that's awesome. Look at that inside kicker. Absolutely miserable walk out of the woods with no headlamp or anything, and turned out pretty good. I actually found 3 antlers. I just had a little bit of time and I went so far back, and it was so stupid. I needed a headlamp for sure. Awesome. Me and Dylan are out here walking this new property. This is really cool, and we just had a little bit of time, so we came up here. These huge south spaces with all the CRP, and I'm like, I bet you we find an antler up here. This looks killer. And then I didn't take a video of it, but I found this tiny little shed that's old, last year or 2 years ago. Look at the genetics on that thing. That is a baby giant. This might be one of the coolest sheds I've ever found. A huge pedicle on this tiny buck. Probably the best looking genetics I have ever seen on a tiny little antler. If this thing is still alive, I mean, you just look at this thing and you're like, that's just in the genetics to be a 200 incher right there. This is probably like a 1.5 year old antler. This is so cool. I've never seen an antler like this. There's a little guy right in the wide open. Sweet. This is just like a junk bottom field. I see a real nice old antler here. Me and Dylan just walked through here the other day. We must have walked right by it. That's crazy. This thing has been here for a while. Long time. That is old as the hills. Hard to see in here. That's crazy. There's virtually like no deer sign in here, just trails cutting through it. I'm on these big south faces now, and super thick, really good bedding, so I hope I run into some real big sign. I just jumped 2 deer on this point that both looked like bucks. At the bottom of the hill, I scooped up sheds 81 and 82, and then I just ran into this, which is super cool. Old John Monroe. Might be good luck. Born October 26, 1812, and died November 19, 1881. So I might have to throw a hunt up on this point on his birthday, and maybe even the day that he died. That is so cool. Find stuff like that out in the woods.